On 3?
Yep, so that's good.
Okay.
They're going to be shipped out tomorrow morning. I didn't want to send them on the weekends because they get left on some loading dock somewhere.
Okay.
So I'll take extra care and make sure they get to the right place overnight. So they're going to pick up tomorrow morning, and we should know the results, I'm guessing, probably by the week after that.
Okay.
Okay, and as soon as I get the information, I know Dr. Gomez is going to be out of town, but I'll go ahead and pass on the info to Shelley, and she can give you a call at that time, let you know what the results were.
Okay, so all right, so when I guess I heard from Dr. Gomez on Friday, and he said 5 made it to Marula, so only 3 made it to Blastocyst.
Yeah, we have the Morulus are the stage just before blastocyst development,
Right.
and out of that group of 5, we had 3 that made it to blastocyst stage.
Okay. Did you grade any of those 3?
Yes, they are graded at 4 BB, 3 BB, and 3 BV.
Okay.
Okay, so not bad.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so keep your fingers and toes crossed, and we'll get some good results back.
I,
And that's going to be the big thing, getting a normal euploid embryo, and then we can line up a transfer after that.
okay. All right.
All right, kiddo. Well, have a great weekend, and what's left of it, anyways.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, and I'll call you probably in about, I'm guessing around 10 days. Give it about 10 days, and they'll have results back.
Okay.
All right. Take care.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. Bye bye. Well, there you have it, y'all. My Fantastic Five is down to a terrific 3. I guess I get to pray that at least one comes back normal. And I guess I'm gonna pray extra hard that one is a girl. But no matter what it is, I'm gonna transfer it, and hopefully, that's good. That's good. So the grades are not A1, but I am no spring chicken. So, yeah. Okay then. Okay then. Whew. All right. So another 10-day wait. This doesn't get any easier. This doesn't get any easier. Oh, it makes me even more nervous. It was only 3, but you know what? It was 7 that fertilized. I was hoping 4 or 5 made it to Blastocyst. They almost made it. And 3 made it to Blastocyst, so that's good. That's good. It's better than none. And considering that I've not even had a chemical pregnancy, I guess I'm sorry, I'm all like allergy written this morning. I guess this is as furthest as I've gone, or at least that I know of. I mean, with IUIs and home inseminations, you don't know if sperm met egg. So at least at this point, I know sperm met egg. If sperm met egg, you don't know if it progressed to blastocyst. At least at this point, I know that 3 of them have progressed to blastocyst. And then you don't know if they're normal chromosomally. And I guess I'll get that in a week to 10 days. So, I will know one way or the other. So, it's more hurry up and wait. Um, I think this is probably going to be even more nerve-wracking because I don't know if any of them will come out normal. It is still the law halves, so in the law halves, one or two could come out completely normal. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. We will see. So, here's hoping. Here's hoping. Maybe all three will come out completely normal. Since they made it to blastocyst just fine. Hopefully all three. But I'm a realist and I'm gonna be realistic. And reality here is, at best, I can expect one to come out. At best. Optimistically two. But that's a little bit more than half. But I'm 38. I'm 38. The grades were not A1, but I'm 38. Nobody's expecting me to produce AA eggs, right? So, but if they come back chromosomally normal, then the grading doesn't matter, right? That kind of trumps the grading. So, but they're still graded pretty well. 3BB, 4BB. So, I need to look up more information on grading in general. So, I'm going to see what I can find out about that and then get back to you. It's still a work weekend. It's Sunday. I actually got a meeting in 25 minutes. So, to kind of finish up this work for the weekend, was on the phone for like 6 hours yesterday trying to get through some stuff. So, this week has been pretty stressful. I'm running out of time on the camera. I have literally a minute left. I have to move some videos off of here, but I'm glad that I was able to get that phone call. I was expecting it yesterday. I'm glad that I got it today, and I was able to catch it on camera for you. And I'm going to look up some more information on grading and then get back to you. I got a sneeze that is brewing right now, but I will catch y'all later. All right, bye-bye. Hey ladies, I'm back. I was editing this video and I realized I didn't close it out. So while I'm here, I did do that research on the grading, and I actually have two websites that I can share in regarding the grading. One website I share all the time, that's the Advanced Fertility website, and I wanted to share what I found out about the grading and basically what the numbers mean. So, hang on, give me a second. Okay, I'm back. So unprepared to do this today. Okay. So, let's talk about 5-day embryos, because there are two different scales depending on when the embryo is being transferred. So, there's a 3-day scale and there's a 5-day scale. I am doing really a 6-day blast because they were biopsied on day 6, but the grading is based on a 5-day blast. So, really quick, I'm going to say that there's a standard assessment on embryo grading for a 3-day blast, and that has to do with the cells and if they're like evenly distributed. I don't know if they give them they give them numbers. They just give them numbers. So it's kind of like 0. They give them 0 through 3, I think, or 0 through 4. So they just give them numbers, how many cells, and then a grade. And it really just depends. Like a perfect 3-day embryo would be 8-cell grade 4, right? So it's the perfect looking 8-cell embryo, no fragmentation, the cells are even, regular, similarly sized, and that's considered high quality. So a perfect would be a grade 4. Now again, I'm not doing a 3-day. My grades are not 3-day, but grades, they are 5-day grades, and so that's a different grading mechanism. There's actually a standard grading scale, and that is called the Gardner Blastocyst grading system. And some facilities will, I don't want to say deviate, but they'll modify this grading system to add like extra letters or extra numbers, depending on how they see fit. So it's really important for you to ask your embryologist what grading method they use, because if I give you my grades and then your embryologist used a different grading method, they can mean completely different things. So I believe, I didn't ask my embryologist, but I believe he used the Gardner grading system, because some women will report a grade of just a number. Some will report just a letter. Some will be a number in one letter. So, like I said, different grading systems, and you really need to know which one your embryologist is using. But this one with a number and 2 letters is essentially the Gardner grading system. So, let's first talk about a blastocyst. And I'm going to put up a little picture here. And this is a picture I borrowed from the site. So a blastocyst essentially has 3 parts. There is 3 distinct parts. So there are 2 cell types and then the fluid cavity. So this picture here is a 5-day blastocyst embryo after fertilization. And there's a little clump of cells at the 12 o'clock area, and that is called the inner cell mass. So if you didn't know that, the inner cell mass is what becomes the baby, okay? That becomes the fetus. There is the Trophectoderm cells that form the placenta, and that surrounds the fluid cavity. So that's the ring of cells around the circle. So that becomes the placenta. And then you have a fluid-filled blastocoel cavity in the center. So that's all just fluid. So you've got, in this picture here, you've got the ring of cells. That's the Trophectoderm cells. And then at the little 12 o'clock position, you see a little bundle of cells there. That is the inner cell mass that becomes the fetus. And then everywhere else in between, even though it looks like there might be some cells back there, that's all fluid. Okay. So, and that is the blastocyst. So the entire thing, there's like another coating that sort of encapsulates all of this, and that is called the blastocoel. So that's why the cavity is just filled with fluid. Okay. So as the development of the blastocyst progress, the cells in the 2 components divide and the fluid cavity enlarges, right? So in my last video, you know, the doctor said that I had 5 that made it to Marula. So if you look at this image here, you'll see Marula is the stage right before blastocyst, but you'll see all the cells are bunched together. So after Marula, the cells basically divide and differentiate between placenta and baby. And so that's what's being graded in your blastocyst. Okay, so you want the blastocoel cavity to expand, like that fluid, you need it to expand. So the number, because you know my blastocysts were 4BB, 3BB, and 3BB. So the number in that grading system has to do with the blastocyst development stage, right? So it's the expansion in that fluid. So a grade of 1 means that the blastocoel cavity is less than half the volume of the embryo. 2 is more than half the volume of the embryo. 3 is a full blastocyst. The cavity completely fills the embryo. And 4 is an expanded blastocyst. The cavity is larger than the embryo with thinning on the shell. Now, the thinning is important because it means it's getting close to hatching, right? And that's what you need. You need the blastocyst to hatch so that it can implant into the endometrium. So when you have a 5, that means it is hatching. It's finally hatching out of the shell. And then a 6 is it's hatched out of the shell. So at day 5, we're not expected to be hatching yet. So 4 is typically like the top grade. Once you get to 5, that means it's already started hatching. That's a good thing because you need the hatching for implantation. So I got 1 at 4. It's expanded. It's already larger. The walls were already thinning. And I had 2 at 3, which was a full blast. But the walls weren't thinning yet. Okay. So then the first of the 2 letters has to do with the inner cell mass. So that's the little ball that was at the 11, 12 o'clock in the other image. So an A, which is the highest grade, just means it's many cells and they're tightly packed. B means there's several cells loosely grouped, and C is very few cells. Pardon me. The second letter has to do with the trifectoderm. So remember, the inner cell mass becomes the baby. And the trifectoderm becomes the placenta. So A, which is the highest grade, means there's many cells forming a cohesive layer. B means there's few cells forming a loose epithelium. I don't know what an epithelium is, but I'll put the word down here, loose epithelium. And C means very few large cells. Okay, so what this means is, given this grading system, is that my 4BB embryo is my strongest embryo. That's the highest graded embryo. And then the other 2 are not bad. You know, they're still viable embryos. There are some clinics that believe, say, like a 3cc embryo is doesn't have much of a chance of implanting. So the grading is all about, you know, morphology and well, not the morphology, sorry. I guess, yeah, so the grading is about morphology, and it's about whether they expect this embryo to actually implant. So it's helpful, but it's not the end-all be-all, which is why, as an older woman, I decided to do the PGS testing, because you can have a perfectly graded 4AA embryo and it come back chromosomally abnormal. So, you know, the embryo is good, but again, the PGS testing trumps all of the grading. So what you really want is a PGS normal embryo. But as the site says, assessment of the embryo's chromosomal status using the pre-implantation genetic screening, that's the PGS, along with standard morphology grading, is the current gold standard for selecting the best embryo for transfer. Okay, all right. So now what I want to do on this site, because I love this site, there's so much information and they have pictures. So I'm going to show you a picture. This is all from the advancedfertility.com site. I'm going to have the link to this information in the description if you want to read more and look at more. There's so much on this site. I'm so glad that I found it. And they're actually a clinic based out of Chicago. They have 3 locations, but I guess they're like in Illinois. Anyway. So this image here is what would be considered, and none of these are my embryos, but this is what would be considered a perfect 4AA embryo, and this is what it would look like. Now, I'm going to show you what my 3BBs, an example of what a 3BB embryo looks like. And now here's an example of what a 4BB embryo looks like. Okay. All right. So, and then, you know, so that's the information that I found out about the grading. I know going through this process, watching other ladies go through IVF and them talk about the grades of their embryos and just not really understanding what the grades mean. My eyebrows are like crazy. Sorry. Not understanding what the embryos mean, what the grading means, what's good, what's bad, why they were graded that way. I eventually wanted to look into the grading, and I know my initial search didn't really get me much back when I was watching other people, but I guess I wasn't as invested in it as I am now, since I have my own grading. And the thing about it is they tell you these gradings, but they don't explain where they come from. So, you know, it really is imperative for me to find out this information and really understand what this stuff means. And I'm so glad that I found this gem of a site, advancedfertility.com, that has so much information with pictures and all that great stuff, so you kind of can visualize, you know, what your embryos and what things look like. So yes, ladies, so that's your lesson on embryo grading. So I just have a wait still on my PGS testing and what that looks like at this point. So just wait. Still a lesson in patience, right? Still a lesson in patience. So I am going to officially close off this video. I have now made it 3 times as long with this extra video, but hopefully I've helped to take some of the mystery out of the embryo grading that you might have been seeing on other videos. And if you want more information, do check out the advancedfertility.com website. So much information on meds, on like the schedules when going through an IVF cycle, what that looks like. And then also this, because they're a clinic as well, they do explain that they use a modified version of Gardner. So because their embryologists like to add a few extra grades or what have you, and they kind of explain this scale that they use as well, because that's what some clinics will do. They'll add some extra letters, so there might be like a D and an E, and maybe even an F on the letters, and there might be, I don't think there's any more. They usually leave the numbers alone, but they add extra letters. And then when they add extra letters, what the letters mean are completely, or not completely different, but a little different. So it really is important to know what grading method your embryologist uses. So if you get grading, make sure you ask your embryologist, are they using Gardner, or are they using a modified Gardner, or are they using a special grading system, because they're all different and they can be. All right, so I'm going to sign off. Sticky baby dust to all those TTC. Bye.